Dr. Ivanova, I think you're still on mute.
Sorry. Sorry, guys, I was on mute. Thank you, Kevin. Welcome. Everybody's here, and we're exploring a new topic today, which is modulations through Neapolitan. Now, you guys see that I send you through chat two files that I suggest you download and open when we talk about these files. You can download them right away, keep them open. We'll get there. It's just easier to look at them and work on them from your computer than from the screen. Okay, well, what's modulation through Neapolitan? Well, I'm gonna start with sharing a part of the very short YouTube video, and then we're gonna talk about it in detail. But this is our short introduction to what's modulation through Neapolitan.
Or what we call the supertonic. So the second degree of the scale in C major is D. Okay? Well, what happens if we then form a chord? To do is lower the root and the fifth.
And he's just talking about Neapolitan to begin
we get
with.
D flat, F, A flat. It would be the same chord in C minor, except in C minor the A would already be flat, so you just have to flatten that D at the bottom. So that's how you construct your Neapolitan chord. Or you could just say, well, what's the lowered supertonic, the lowered second degree of the scale? That's D flat. Can I build a major chord on D flat? Yes, here it is. What you're then going to do normally is to put it in first inversion. Simply means that the F is going to come at the bottom of it. Doesn't have to be in first inversion, but quite often it is. So I'm tending along in C major, minding my own business. Sounds all right, doesn't it? But after a while, this is going to get a little bit boring, you know. So what am I going to do? I might decide to use a Neapolitan chord. Oh, isn't it nice? A lot of colour there. And 1C to 5, 7 to 1 might be a nice way of resolving it. The Neapolitan goes to 1C, or it goes to 5. And on from there. So it's a nice bit of colour in C major. However, what happens if I'm thinking, well, you know what I really want to do? I'm in C major and I want to go to D flat major. And I look at the circle of fifths and I think, a bit tricky this. C major's up the top there, no flats, no sharps. But D flat major is all the way down here. It's got 5 flats. So how am I going to get there? Do I have to go through F major, B flat major, E flat major, A flat major before I get to D flat major? Well, you could do. You should get there somewhere before Christmas. But if you want to get straight to D flat major, one way of doing it would be to use a Neapolitan. So here I am, minding my own business in C major. Maybe I've used the Neapolitan chord in C major and then carried on C major. But I might get to the point where I use the Neapolitan and then I carry on in D flat major. You see, that was pretty seamless, wasn't it? And now I'm in the key of D flat major. So I've managed to make that hop from C major with no sharps, no flats to D flat major with 5 flats simply by using the Neapolitan as a means of modulating to that key. So there we are, something you might want to play with in your own improvisation and in your own composition. So have fun. See.
Okay, guys. So you just saw a musical demonstration of how to get to D flat major from C major through use of Neapolitan. And you can get to more keys through Neapolitan than to the key of Neapolitan itself, because, well, if you think about it, D flat major to C, right, is Neapolitan, right, the key relationship of Neapolitan. And of course, D flat major to C would be in the larger group of foreign keys. So what Neapolitan lets you do, Neapolitan lets you get to a foreign and far key. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this. You should be able to see right now the PowerPoint presentation, right? And if you don't see it, tell me right away and mute your mic. right? So, well, this topic is still covered in the same chapter of our textbook, chapter 21, which talks about the entire group of mode mixture and Neapolitan chords. And the type of modulation that we're starting is modulation involving mode mixture and Neapolitan. Today we specifically talk about modulations through Neapolitan. We just recently learned this chord. I thought we would start with modulations through Neapolitan, and our next class will be on modulations through mode mixture triads or Borel triads. Well, they both work the same way, meaning that the Borel chords and the Neapolitan may be used as common chords, or we also call them pivot chords in modulation. And this procedure will facilitate a modulation to a foreign key, and some of these foreign keys will relate to tonic as chromatic medians, or, well, the first example, modulating from C major to D flat major, would be an example of foreign key relationship where D flat major relates to C as the key of Neapolitan, right? Now, Neapolitan chord can be used as a common chord or pivot chord, and in one key it will act as Neapolitan harmony, and in a new key to which we'll modulate, it will represent a diatonic major triad, right? So let's hear this first example. Well, let's look at it with our eyes first. Here is our tonic of C major. Well, of course, this is a very schematic representation. You would have a harmonic progression approaching Neapolitan, but let's say that we approach Neapolitan and we use it as a pivot chord. So you see how in C major, it's a mode mixture chord or altered chord, right? In altered chord, again, is a larger group that includes mode mixture chords. And in the new key to which we're going to modulate through Neapolitan, it's a diatonic triad, right? In this example, it's not tonic. It could be tonic, and then it would lead us to D flat major. But in this example, Neapolitan is reinterpreted as subdominant triad of A flat major, right? And it's treated this way in the continuation of this progression. Well, subdominant is also predominant harmony, right? So soon after the common chord in any modulation, we will hear the dominant of the new key, right, and the new tonic established through the cadence, right, with the help of dominant resolving to tonic. So I'm going to play back this first example. Could you guys hear the sound? And if you couldn't, unmute your mic and say that you couldn't hear the sound. Sometimes it's tricky with the PowerPoint presentations. The sound doesn't come through. Okay, well, that was our demonstration where the modulation was realized through Neapolitan, where Neapolitan use as Neapolitan harmony is in the home key, right? And in the new key, it becomes diatonic triad. Now, that scheme can be flipped, meaning that we can use Neapolitan as Neapolitan harmony in the new key. And the second example below shows how from C major, right, we approached a pivot chord, and we can use any major diatonic triad, right, as a pivot chord in modulations through Neapolitan. And in the new key, it will be reinterpreted or given a significance, a role, a function of Neapolitan harmony, right? So looking at it with the Lichet symbols, well, here is a C major chord, our tonic of C major. Second chord is F major, subdominant of C major, right? But, well, if we want to use modulations through Neapolitan, in the new key, this F major will be Neapolitan, right? Flat 2. And that can lead us to E major, for example, or E minor parallel key, right? So in all of these examples, where you are using diatonic triad as a Neapolitan in new key, you can actually modulate to two parallel keys, right? Because Neapolitan is shared between major and minor parallel keys, right? So we could get to E major through F major triad as Neapolitan, or E minor through F major triad as Neapolitan, right? And again, Neapolitan is a predominant chord, so then next we'll hear the dominant of the new key and tonic, right? And this cadence establishes a new key in modulation. So let's hear this as an example, as a musical example. Okay, guys, any questions at this point? Any questions? And if I don't hear questions from you, I'll move on. So, oops. Here is our first example from the textbook. Now, if you have the textbook, you can see better resolution of this example on, well, I'm not sure what's the page number here, sorry about that. But this is example 2118 in chapter 21. This example is a little bit more complicated, and just to make sure that we see it correctly and analyze it correctly, well, you see that the progression starts in A major, right? But the key signatures are not for A major, right? And it modulates to A flat minor. But again, the new key signatures are not for A flat minor, it's for parallel key of A flat major, and it's just a transitional moment from Schubert moment musical or musical moment. But this is our example for modulations through Neapolitan. Now, in this example, you can see that Neapolitan is the pivot chord, and it's used as Neapolitan harmony in the new key, right? And in the first key, in the home key in this modulation, a diatonic triad, right, is used as a pivot chord, and it's reinterpreted in the new key as Neapolitan. Again, right after the pivot chord, we hear a cadence in a new key, which establishes the new key, right? And look at the relationship between the keys. Well, home key is A major, new key is A flat minor, so foreign keys, right? Okay, well, let's hear this example, and it's already supported with a Roman numeral analysis. And just in case, I'm going to play it back again. Okay, now this example is also complicated by the fact that Neapolitan, right, as you can probably read here, actually 1/6 chord in A major before the double bar is enharmonically the same as B double flat major triad, which is the Neapolitan in A flat minor, right? So I'm sorry, guys, this is the only example from the textbook, so I decided to go through this. Two complications here. So key signatures, not much in the keys, and this harmony, right, of E major, right, should be read in this modulation in a new key as B double flat major, which would be well, Neapolitan, right? And E major is an enharmonic respelling of this Neapolitan chord for E flat minor. Now, the next example that we're going to analyze, well, does not involve enharmonic respelling of the Neapolitan chord, right? And you guys received the page, right, so, which you can see better. So I suggest, guys, that you open the page, and I'll ask you guys to analyze this example. So what you need to do, well, you need to label all chords and find the modulation. Well, we're talking about modulations through Neapolitan, right? So shoot for modulations through Neapolitan. And identify the type of sequence. And there will be additional question about key relationships, right? So what's the key relationship between these two keys? Fragment starts in A minor and ends in F major, right? So you can probably answer this question right away. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play back this file twice, right? And I'm gonna put you in 2 breakout rooms so you can work together in 2 groups. You can discuss and do analysis together, and then I'll probably ask each one of you to give me one chord. We'll go chord by chord in this analysis, right? And explain the modulation and answer the question about the key relationship in this case. So any questions about what you need to do? Have you been able to download the file? So please have the file open in front of your eyes and listen to the recording of this file with the open file. Now you can, if you can print it out, write by hand your analysis. If you can use Comments tool and Adobe Reader or in Adobe Acrobat Pro program, if you have it, you can draw your analysis with the comment tool or type your analysis, or you can simply write it on paper, right, using measure numbers, right? What are the chords in measure 37, 38, right? So fragment starts from measure 37, right, etc. Okay, so I hope you guys are listening carefully. I'm playing back the file, the fragment first time. This is retransition from Mozart's Sonata, key 545, first movement, retransition back to recapitulation, where we're going to hear the primary theme at the bottom of this example on the last third system. So let's hear it.
Self-test 21-1 C4.
Yes, and of course there is also a question about
Self-test
sequence.
20.
Okay, let's hear it again.
Self-test 21-1 C4.
Okay, guys, and I'm gonna create breakout rooms. For that, I need to stop sharing. So you guys will select who is going to be responsible for writing down the complete analysis, but you can discuss all the chords together.
One more time.
Yes, so I can so starting recording now. So we're gonna look next at Schubert String Quartet, which starts in C minor, and it's a very good example because it follows the classical idiom of modulation to distant keys, followed by classical and romantic composers. They used to introduce unusual chord first as a harmony, and then later use it as a pivot chord in modulation, right? So all unusual altered chords, such as mod mixture chords, which were used as pivot chords in distant modulations or in modulations to distant or foreign keys, used to be introduced first as a harmony, right? And then later used as pivot chord. Okay, let's start listening. Yeah, so I don't have the sound for some reason. Okay, so here I should have a sound now. Yeah, so guys, do you all have PDF? Because Eunice is saying that she didn't get the PDF file.
No, I didn't get it either.
Okay, so I'm gonna send it one more time. So through chat. Okay, and I've got a confirmation message that it was sent. Did you guys get it through chat?
Is it to everyone? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, I sent it to everyone. No? Yeah, okay, so Kevin got it. Okay, guys, and anyway, I'm going to project on screen the score, so hopefully you'll be able to follow. And this one you don't need to analyze, just follow the analysis. So let's start. Okay, guys, have you been able to see the score? Have you been able to see the score from the screen? Please say yes or no.
Yes.
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 Well, that was our additional example, and you'll receive it in your email together with the next homework. So let's continue, because in the next homework, you'll also have one logical task that we're going to go through next, and also 4-part writing exercise with the Neapolitan as a pivot chord. Now, using the same Neapolitan triad, you can modulate from a single home key to actually up to 5-6 different keys. How is it possible? Well, Neapolitan triad is a major chord, and we have 3 diatonic major chords in major keys. It's tonic, subdominant, and dominant. And we also have 3 diatonic triads in minor keys. It's midant, dominant, and this dominant is shared between the parallel keys. It's the same dominant we had in major key, and submidant, right? So in this way, Neapolitan can be reinterpreted as all of the 6 different diatonic triads in major and minor keys. For example, imagine that we're in C major again, right? And we're using Neapolitan 6 D flat major chord in root position or in first inversion, doesn't really matter, as a pivot chord, right? So this Neapolitan can become a new tonic, right? And this new tonic will represent the key of D flat major. Or it can be reinterpreted as a new subdominant, right? And then this D flat major will be subdominant of A flat major key. Or it can become a new dominant, right? And then D flat major will be dominant of G flat major key, right? And it can also become a diatonic triad in minor keys, right? So this D flat major Neapolitan can become mediant of B flat minor key. Now, D flat major cannot be found as a dominant of a minor key with flats, because we don't have G flat minor key, which would be parallel key of G flat major without enharmonic respelling, and we're not using enharmonic respellings right now, right? So you would cross it out if you get it as an answer, a key that does not really exist because there are too many flats or sharps. So you'd go to the next triad, which is well, taking Neapolitan and thinking of how it will fit as a new submediant in a minor key. Well, as a submediant, D flat major triad is found in F minor, right? And following this scheme, well, you'll hear a cadence in a new key, right? Now, let's practice what's going to be part of your homework. So one of the problems will be to find all keys to which you can modulate, for example, from D major through Neapolitan, right? So you'll be given a starting key, right? And then you'll have to think about what will be Neapolitan and to what 5 or 6 new keys you can modulate through this Neapolitan. So listen carefully which steps you'll need to take, because then you'll work on a similar problem in groups, and you'll have different questions in each group. Okay, so here is the task. We're starting in D major, right, and modulating through Neapolitan to 5 or 6 keys, and we need to identify those keys and how this Neapolitan will fit into this key. So next step to take would be identify what will be Neapolitan in D major. So guys, can you tell me what's Neapolitan chord in D major? What harmony it is? Do you know? So can you tell me what's Neapolitan in D major? Yeah, and I see that some of you are answering through chat. So let's see. E flat major, yeah, correct, right? So E flat major, right? So you did the first step. Yeah, and received several answers. Great. Okay, now the next step will be, well, remembering correctly free major diatonic triads as functions and free major diatonic triads in minor keys as functions, right? So meaning that you'll create a chart like that, right? Home key, Neapolitan, put in a parenthesis what chord it is as a harmony, E flat major, right? And then for free major keys, right, major 1, major 4, major 5, tonic, subdominant, dominant, right? And for free minor keys, right, median, dominant, submedian, right? Free 5, 6 with capital Roman numerals showing that it's major chords, right? Next step would be to ask yourself for each of these Roman numerals, right? And imagine that E flat major triad is the new tonic, right? So what is the new key in this modulation, right? So what do you think is going to be the new key in the modulation is Neapolitan, which is E flat major harmony, will become a new tonic. Who knows? And you guys can unmute your microphone and tell me the new key. So to what key will modulate if Neapolitan E flat major becomes a new tonic? Well, that's the easiest question out of 6, so I think you should know. So you can use the chat if you don't want to use the mic, right? But what's going to be the new tonic if E flat major becomes new tonic in a modulation? Okay, yes. No, it's so E flat major, right? No, it's not a trick question. It's a very simple question. That's why you might be hesitating, right? Because it's a very simple question, and it's not A flat major. No, E flat. Yeah, if you're saying E flat, yeah, E flat major, right? Will be an answer here. Now, next question over here. E flat becomes the subdominant, right, of a new major keys, of a new major key. So what is the new key? So if E flat is subdominant, to what key we're modulating? Can you tell? So E flat is subdominant of what new key?
D flat.
D flat. That's right. Okay, and through several few questions, I will walk you through because we're running out of time. So next, E flat major will become dominant, right, of a new major key, right? So the new key is gonna be E flat major, right? Next, E flat major as a triad will become median in minor, right? So the new key here is gonna be C minor. Next, E flat major is the dominant in minor again, right? So it's going to be parallel key of major key that we had before, A flat minor. And finally, E flat is major 6 in minor, right? So the new key is going to be G minor, G minor. And here are the answers just to check, right? Okay, guys, and this is, sorry, this shouldn't be there. Okay, now you have a similar question, right? So you're going to be either in group 1 or 2, I don't know, the breakout rooms are created automatically. So write down, right, both. For group number 1, you're going to be creating modulation from G major through Neapolitan. For group number 2, you're going to modulate through Neapolitan from E minor. Write down both of these keys, G major, E minor, and I'll tell you which one you're going to be doing right after I create breakout rooms. Which I'm doing right now. So we have G major and E minor modulations through Neapolitan, and you're going to break out rooms. Okay.
Wait, so G major and A minor.
So, yeah. So yeah. I'm just gonna share this one more time for the recording purposes. So here is the answers to our exercise for students who were not able to join live. And I'll see you guys in 5 minutes. 2:30.